Hello, and welcome back to the Levels of Mediocrity. I'm Nathan, and I'm here with my co-host Alex.
Hello.
And today we'll be watching and reviewing another film and ultimately rating it to see where it sits on the levels of mediocrity. On today's docket, we are watching 1959's infamous B-movie classic, The Killer Shrews. Featured in this is James Best, who might be best remembered as Sheriff Roscoe P. Coltrane from the 1970s series The Dukes of Hazzard, and Ken Curtis, who could be best remembered as Deputy Marshal Festus Hagen from Gunsmoke. For those of the older crowd, I've never seen this film, but you have seen this before.
Yes, I have seen this. Someone I know was reminiscing about the days of old and the movies gone by.
When the garbage was gold.
Yep, that's right. And so they decided to buy this movie and watch it. So this was one film among several that were purchased, not all of them that I watched. You had The Killer Shrews, Frogs, and the classic movie Them that involves giant mutant ants.
I've seen them. I've seen them many times.
It has been a while since I've seen it, so I don't necessarily remember all the details, though.
I know it's a sci-fi B-movie. It's called The Killer Shrews, so I'm assuming...
Yeah, so obviously it's a movie about shrews that kill people.
Do you think they'll be using actual shrews, or are we going to talk about creature suits?
Well, since I've already seen it, I don't want to spoil anything.
Okay. Why shrews? Of all things to make it sound deadly, it's just, you could have called them anything else. Saying a shrew just makes you think of a small little furry animal. Oh, it's adorable, you know?
Well, that's not all unusual. You have plenty of other B movies that attempt to take something very innocuous and to make it deadly. And then, of course, you have like some ridiculous B-movie science that justifies everything. Like, they were exposed to some sort of radiation, and now you have, deadly butterflies that eat people.
I know that there is a Lampoon film that I've heard referenced in several things. It was done in the 70s. It's very low budget. It's called Attack of the Killer Tomatoes. And I wonder if it's just aping off that same kind of nonsense, taking something innocuous and turning it into something deadly.
Well, wasn't there another B movie kind of in this vein? I think it was about giant mantis.
Oh, there's The Deadly Mantis. That one I have seen. And The Black Scorpion. Is about a clutch of gigantic scorpions unearthed in Mexico. I've seen that one as well. That was a pretty good B-movie. It's got some good stop motion in it. Until it doesn't, because they ran out of budget.
So this movie is in black and white, correct?
1959? Yeah, a cheap film. If this is a cheap B-movie, yeah, they wouldn't have wasted color film on something like this.
Reports of a new species, the giant killer shrew.
Oh, they're giant killer shrews. Okay. It's not just a herd of tiny shrews just devouring everything in their path. They're giant. Although I'm imagining them like being small, just in a giant herd, just swarming a person and eating them like the scarabs from The Mummy. I see someone else is out for a 3-hour tour. I'm sorry, sir, but this is 1959 and this is a horror film. You're a goner. You picked the worst moment, I fear. Why did you have to make him suspicious, my dear?
Nathan, I think he's a Russian scientist, not a Transylvanian vampire.
I'm hearing fake Bela Lugosi accent.
Oh no, Nathan, you were right. He's a goner.
He's alone, and he's on the island.
I am saying that because of your drunken stupidity in leaving the cage door open, you created the horrible situation that now exists.
Wow. This is certainly a cozy little scene.
Two people talking to each other. Anything could have happened.
Now, in my book, an engagement isn't a casual thing.
In my book, it isn't either. And last night ended ours.
Oh, so they were engaged.
Apparently, but no longer. Now we're all going to die, and it's all your fault. I don't know what our deaths have to do with our marriage. You had to pick the flimsiest tree, didn't you? There's like 12 other stronger, sturdier, taller trees around you. Yep, down it goes. They're treating them like they're the velociraptors from Jurassic Park.
Have you ever heard of a shrew?
As in taming
No,
of
the animal. Bradford called him Sorixoricity when he showed you one.
The killer Sorixoricity. That's a much more intimidating title.
What's wrong, Anne?
We're all gonna die on this island, Dad. I'm a little worried about it.
They were multiplying. We did everything in the world to exterminate them, but no apparent luck.
We did everything short of killing them.
Wanting her father to leave the island with her makes sense.
Yes.
It'd be much better for the project if I went with her for a few days.
How about we all leave and forget this nonsense?
Like in Sweden, we don't have a wind this strong.
Oh, they're Swedish.
Swedish? The father doesn't strike me as Swedish at all.
Well, the daughter is Swedish. The father is obviously of Empire.
Those things got loose. Any unusual experiment can produce unusual results. That's why I chose this island. It's isolated.
So I could end the world. It would mean progress.
There's still some food on this island before they reach the crisis. Where?
Look in the mirror.
I haven't. Shutter all the windows. Make sure they're locked good and tight. Check all these walls.
You know, do all the things that we should have already done.
And then get liquored up. Be unprepared for what happens next. Consume all the alcohol. Don't leave any for the shrews. Shrews, they do not knock, senor.
You're a good man, Mario. A man that can be trusted.
You and your brother Luigi, you're good people.
You know what I've been thinking about, Mario? Anne and that captain. You and me.
If he gets her, I get you. I was drunk when I let him out, and I was drunk when I let him back in.
You see anything? I see
Si, senor, he is eating my leg. Oh, he is eating his leg. You do not understand, senor. Now when the moon is full, I will become a shrew.
Are you a scientist?
I'm a zoologist.
Oh. That's the study of animal life, isn't it?
No, we study zoos. Can we walk a little faster, please? You know, as if run, as if though there are giant poisonous man-eating shrews behind you. Okay, so he's a panicker. All he's going to do is get people killed. The chair is a nice touch. This is...
Last chance. Here, help me, Doctor.
This is starting to feel like Tremors, which I'm sure, the style of movie that it was, it's aping off of films like this. But what did he grab a hold of? Is that a life jacket? It doesn't matter now. I have to imagine those are like dogs in costumes, so they're just over there playfully licking it.
Oh, wow. That's it? They didn't even have credits.
No credits. Who knows if there were any? Well, that was all at the beginning, so I guess that was all you needed to know.
Oh, yeah, you're probably right. So, to quickly summarize the story of this movie, you have a captain and his first mate on a boat coming to an island to drop off supplies. The people living on the island are researchers. They're conducting experimentations on lifespan and metabolism, and the animals that they're using in their experimentations are shrews. There was a gene mutation that caused some of the shrews to become very large. The large shrews escaped and started reproducing on the island. Once their food began to be depleted, they started hunting humans. This large population of wild, voracious shrews combined with a coming hurricane, confines everyone into the house for protection. At the very end, when they get a break in the storm, their objective is to get to the water because the shrews can't swim. So they use some large tanks, slowly waddle their way in these armored tanks to the beach, get in the water, and swim for the boat. And that's it. That's the end, because without any more food on the island for the shrews to eat, they will all revert to cannibalism and or eventually starve because of their extremely high metabolism. That was a decent B-movie.
Yeah, that was a satisfying little cheesy B-movie. I like that.
The science, as expected, was pretty ridiculous.
It doesn't matter. We have a scenario, there's a threat. How can we find some semi-neat way to find ourselves out of this threat?
Oh, yeah.
You know?
yeah. This was a fun movie. The science was obviously ridiculous, but because it's an old B movie, it's ridiculous in a fun way. Like, they ate... Oh, we need to poison the shrews. Oh, they ate the poison. Now they're poisonous shrews.
Now they're poisonous shrews. You know, it doesn't matter. The plot is goofy and engaging and whatnot, and it's just full of stock characters. You know, the hero, the love interest, the mad scientist, the panicky person that makes everything worse, and then the people that just got off to show us how deadly they are.
Speaking of the actors, you have a fairly small crew. You also have a fairly simple set. You know, few locations, even the locations themselves are fairly barren. I can see how this would be a great B movie because you don't have a whole lot of expenses.
And a very, you know, limited shots were basically just inside or outside of a house. You have a reason for them to be isolated most of the time, which keeps down on people wandering all over the place. And then you just have some rat costumes on some dogs.
Yeah, the killer shrews, they just look like dogs, especially in the night scenes where it's too dark to see the actual costumes and all you can see is the silhouette. So it just looks like the silhouette of a dog.
But that's all they needed, and it was effective enough. I took the shrews as a deadly presence on the island.
So what can we say about this movie? It was a good B movie.
It was a good B movie. It's a good example of that low-budget, cheesy B movie that was the bread and butter of movie theaters way back in like the Silver Age of Hollywood.
Therefore, I think there is only one score that is adequate for this movie, and that is a B+. No, not that B, the other B. No, not that B, like as in BC. No, not C as in ocean, C as in a letter. You and your puns!